Every single person that I have ever heard of, ever, that has built something amazing, delayed gratification for as long as possible, and also was very tired. Okay, we have people talking about how tired they are. I told you I'm tired. No shit. That's a prerequisite to success. Every single thing that has ever been built, every single accomplishment that's ever been accomplished, every single thing that is worth mentioning in the history of Earth was built by people who were tired. Every single thing. Okay, so you getting on the internet and crying about how tired you are or saying I'm tired, good. You're supposed to be tired. Can you execute when you're tired? That's the question that you need to be answering. What is up, guys? It's Andy Frisella, and this is the show for the realists. Say goodbye to the lies, the fakeness, and delusions of modern society, and welcome to motherfucking reality. Guys, today we have Q&AF. That's where you submit the questions, and we give you the answers. Now, you could submit your questions to be answered on the show a few different ways. First way is,
guys, you can email these questions into askandy@andyfrisella.com.
Or you go on YouTube, drop your question in the comments on the Q&AF episodes. We will answer some from there as well. Throughout the week, we're going to have shows within the show. Tomorrow, we're going to have Cruise the Internet. We call that CTI. That's we put topics on the screen, we speculate on what's true and what's not true, and then we talk about how we, the people, have to solve these problems going on in the world. Other times, we're going to have Real Talk. Real Talk is just 5 to 20 minutes of me giving you some real talk that I think everybody needs to hear. And then we're going to have 75 Hard Verses. 75 Hard Verses is where someone who has completed the 75 Hard program comes on the show. They talk about how they were before, how they are now, and how they use the 75 Hard program to reclaim their life. If you're unfamiliar with 75 Hard, it is the introductory phase of the Live Hard program. The Live Hard program is the world's most popular mental transformation program ever, and it's free. All right, you get it at episode 208 on the audio feed. That's 208 on the audio feed. Give the entire Live Hard program for free. Now, if you want to know the ins and outs, if you want to know all the sauce, you can buy the book. There's a book available at andyfrisella.com. It's not necessary. All right. If you want to do the program for free, you can get it at episode 208. But if you want to know all the details, you get the book. All right. The book is called The Book on Mental Toughness. It's available at andyfrisella.com. It goes through the entire Live Hard program. It goes through a whole bunch of chapters on mental toughness, a whole bunch of case studies on people who have used mental toughness to transform their existence and how you can do the same. Now, something that we do different on the show real quick is we don't run ads on the show, okay? And the reason we don't run ads on the show is because I don't want advertisers telling me what I can and can't say. We keep it real here. So I finance the show out of my own pocket. We are definitely the biggest show in the world that doesn't run ads, and I just simply make a deal with you. And the deal is this, all right? If the show's good, if it makes you laugh, it makes you think, if it gives you a new perspective, if it helps you, all right? And this one always does, because we're going to get off to an awesome week with some good knowledge. I need you to share the show for us, all right? We're constantly dealing with shadow bans, traffic throttling, censorship issues still. So I need you to help share the show, all right? So don't be a hoe.
Share the show.
All right. What's up, dude?
What's Gucci gang?
Nothing, man.
Yeah.
What's up? You look nice.
Oh, thanks, man. You look nice.
What, me?
Yeah.
This whole thing?
What's going on, man? How was your weekend?
Fucking cold.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I forgot that it was supposed to snow. I didn't think it was gonna. I had no idea about it at all,
bro. I haven't been doing any outdoor cardio for probably a couple months. I went outside and I was like, "This is cold," and then I was like, "Oh man, I got to start going outside again."
Got to do it.
Because I'm starting to get soft, bro. I can feel it.
Yeah, dude, it's different. It's different.
I caught myself like running from the garage to my house, and I'm like, dude,
doing the oh shit skirt.
You're turning into a bitch. Yeah. So I gotta get back on that outdoor.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm gonna start I'm gonna start 75 Hard on the 1st with everybody, because I know there's always thousands and thousands and thousands of people that start on the 1st. But I think I'm gonna get a good 30-day run going up, so that way. I got some momentum.
Yeah.
I live that way anyway, for the most part. I just haven't done the outdoor cardio in a while.
Yeah. It's been a minute, man. Well, I mean, shit, the winter is definitely a good time to get hard.
Yeah, no shit.
Especially here, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Monday, man.
When's
guys.
not a good time to get what?
Huh?
Nothing. I was trying to keep the show G-rated.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yep. Guys, it's Monday. Let's get into these, man. I got 3 good ones for you. Guys, Andy, question number 1. This is actually a great question going right off that convo. Hi, Andy. I was curious if you've ever gone through a final test phase prior to reaching big milestones in your life, such as a giant windfall of money or a nice car, etc. I personally call this the final test, as you're not being only tested in a few areas of life, like only money or health or personal life, car issues. This test is all-encompassing. Everything going wrong in your life at the same time. Money problems, personal problems, health problems, people problems, car problems, life testing your patience to the absolute extreme while enduring the lack of money to pay bills and cars and repairs and all of that good stuff. I'm personally enduring this right now, all at the same time, and I'm aware that I can't give up in this phase. I'm running with the zero options mentality you talk about, all in or nothing. I was genuinely curious if you've gone through this type of all-encompassing test and what you did to personally overcome it. I love the show. You and DJ crush every day. Thanks for keeping it realistic out there. So big milestones with a massive test right before it.
Well, first of all, how do you know a big milestone's coming? You don't ever know. So you don't know if the test is right before it. But there is sayings that have been around for thousands of years, one of them being, it is always darkest before the dawn. Everybody knows that. Everybody's heard that. And I think most people have experienced it. So the chances of a big breakthrough or a big milestone are in the favor of when you are being tested most that you're going to come through. Now, I don't know if that's because the universe lines it up that way or if it just feels that way because you're going through so much hard stuff that when something goes right, it feels really good.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you know, to answer your question, dude, yes, everybody goes through this, okay? It is not just you. These hard times, these times where you're struggling, these times when you're angry, these times when you're frustrated, these are not exclusive to you. And people who think they're exclusive to them suffer from a massive arrogance problem. They believe that they are the only person that suffers, the only person that has hardship, the only person that has to push through, when in reality, every single achiever that's ever existed, every single thing that's ever been built has been built by somebody who's gone through this process of everything going wrong at some point. And we can look through history at all the amazing people who have done the most amazing things. And right before they did this amazing thing that you know them for, they went through some really hard shit. Okay? So the first thing we got to understand is that you are not the center of the universe. You will go through these tests. These tests will not just come at one point in your life. They will come over and over and over and over again. And after you've matured and been through them enough, you don't panic anymore, okay? And what you can do is to train yourself to become someone who relishes being in the hard shit because you understand that everybody else quits when things get hard. When things get hard, it is simply this. One foot in front of another, in front of another, in front of another, okay? That is the only way to keep moving forward. It's the only way to continue to progress when things are hard, and it's very simple. But people don't like simple. People like extreme and fun and exciting and these instant gratification, situations. And dude, life is just not like that, okay? Life is hard. Success is hard, business is hard, being married is hard, having a family is hard, doing anything that anybody would admire is hard, okay? And when things get the hardest, that is the most important time where you have to continue to move forward, putting one foot down in front of another. This is why it's so important to make investments in your mental toughness, in your grit, in your fortitude, in your ability to persevere, in your ability to stay disciplined. because conditions will never be perfect, okay? When we talk about it being freezing cold outside, and I'm talking about how I know that I need to go get acclimated to that because I can feel myself getting soft, that is me recognizing that my mental fortitude is getting rounded off when it needs to be very sharp, okay? So we have to become aware of where we are mentally, and we have to make investments to harden ourselves mentally so that we can prepare for these hard times that come over and over and over and over again. One phase that you are experiencing right now would normally crush a human being, okay? You're going through this process, things get hard, everything in your life seems. Most people quit the first time that happens. Most people look themselves in the mirror and say, oh, well, I guess that's not for me. I'm going to go just do what everybody else does. And then they quit, okay? And what you have to realize is that if you can build yourself into someone who can work through these things as they come, there's really nothing that can stop you. And the longer you go through them and the more you go through them, the less and less competition there is to the thing that you do. So, work on your mental, focus on keeping your mentality and your mental toughness sharp, recognize when it gets soft, and recognize the importance and the reality of the path that you are on. If you were on a mediocre path and you just wanted to be a regular human, these tests are going to come anyway. They're just going to come disguised as other things, okay? They're going to look different. They're going to feel different. You're not going to be able to pay your electric bill. You're not going to be able to eat at the places you want. Your ability to attract a mate is going to be incredibly diminished, okay? You're going to end up with someone you don't really want to be with. You're going to drive something you don't really want to drive. You're going to be embarrassed of what you did in your life. Those are hard things to deal with. Okay, but if you're going to be an achiever, you're going to deal with different shit. You're going to deal with people laughing at you. You're going to deal with people not believing in you. You're going to deal with people trying to tear you down. You're going to deal with people who, are situations that are just uncomfortable in different ways. All right, so we all go through this. It looks different for everybody. But the bottom line is, if we prepare ourselves to go through these things and we expect these things to happen and we know what to do as they come, you end up winning because everybody else can't make it through, okay? That's what this comes down to. It's very simple.
I love it, man. Let me ask you this, because I feel like this is something I've done personally where, and I just want to get your opinion on it. Like, is this a healthy way, I guess, to manage that stuff? Is that I've always just told myself, you know what, it could be worse. It could be worse. And maybe, like, I don't know, like, does that diminish all of the benefits that you can get from going through the hard shit if you try to diminish how hard it is?
No. When things are very hard, there is a very real truth to the fact that they could be way harder, okay? And most of the people in our country, the United States, I know there's people listen all over the world, but most of the people here have never really been through anything hard, okay? They've been through the normal life shit of hard, right? Someone dies, someone gets sick, these kind of things.
Lose a job.
But their day-to-day hard is luxurious compared to someone who comes from, some third world place. So, lacking the perspective of understanding what is truly hard actually makes your life feel much harder, all right? So, when we can have the proper perspective about what's actually hard and we can remind ourselves that things could be way worse, and the fact is most people have them way worse, that can get us in a place of gratitude. And when we get into a place of gratitude, it makes it easier and we can think more clearly about what we need to move forward. Because most people, when they get in that situation of being frustrated, they panic and they get frazzled and they can't focus and they don't know what to do, so they do nothing. And that just makes the situation worse. So I definitely think there's a lot of value to reminding yourself that no matter how dark shit is, it could be a lot darker.
100%, man. Love it, man. Guys, Andy, question number 2. Andy, I just got bent over with no lube in business. Okay.
It happens.
I like that he put the collar. There's a comma there. You gotta have, that's very, very important punctuation. He says, I had a business relationship that I've been working on for the last year and a half. I depend on this company as part of my supply chain for my business. Well, they just cut themselves out. Without warning, without consideration, and I feel completely lost and out of control. How have you handled being bent over with no lube in the past versus how you handle that stuff now? I feel like I might go to jail if I go with my first mind.
Yeah, you might. And I know what that I know what that feels like, bro.
Yeah.
You know, when someone really with your livelihood, that's serious shit. And you know, I think people forget that. I think people forget because of the internet when they with people's livelihood, what they're really doing to people and where they're really putting them. Okay, so I can understand that feeling because I've had a lot of people with me along the way.
Yeah.
So I get that. Don't do that though. The best way to win is to keep moving forward and smile in everybody's face and be like, F you. You know, you ain't stopping me. So back to the question. How do we handle these situations when things happen that are out of our control? Well, you have to understand that when you are a little fish in a big pond, you're not going to get the respect from the bigger companies that other people get, okay? If that company that you're doing business with had 7 other customers and they're all as big as you and they're all growing, and then that company doesn't have the capacity to do more business for those people, they're going to cut ties with the little ones so that they can expand their ability to service the ones that are bigger. And that sounds like that's where you're at. I can't imagine someone pulling their business from you or a vendor pulling their business from you unless they either A, went out of business, or B, had to expand their ability to service someone bigger than you. And that's normal when you're small. You ask, what happens whenever you get bigger? That doesn't happen when you get bigger because you become such a big part of these vendors' business that they bend over backwards, okay? So they don't have the ability to really you. You hold all the cards the bigger you get. And your job is to go from where you are to where that place is, right? You want to go from the guy who's not getting the respect to the person that's getting all the respect and your business is secured. How do you do that? Well, you got to get creative. You're not facing anything that anybody else who's ever built anything hasn't had to face, okay? So how can you succeed without these people? What are the alternatives? Who can I work with besides that? Is there an opportunity for me to bring that in-house so this can never happen again? How can I ensure that my business is never compromised by someone else's decisions ever again? And this is why in the companies that I'm involved in, we're constantly working towards vertical integration. We are constantly working towards bringing everything within our control simply for that reason that you mentioned. I don't want to have anybody else be in charge of the destiny or the outcome of our business, okay? But when you're a little guy and you don't have the capital, that's just the reality. So what you have to do is you've got to go out, build relationships, find companies that may be in the same position that you're in. Maybe they're a little smaller, maybe they're a little hungrier, maybe they'll do more for you because they are hungrier. In fact, I know they will because that's how it works. And start working there. Okay, but this is normal. This is reality. When you're little, you get no respect. When you're big, you hold all the cards, and that really never ends.
Yeah, and I want to say this because I want to preface this question with this. I've been grateful enough to be around you for the last 5 years, and I think what probably my most admirable piece of you, Andy, is that you're an ethical businessman, right? And I've been able to see that like very, very clearly, right? And all your companies is very ethical. And it's something that I've always, like, it's always been kind of puzzling to me because, you have in entrepreneurship, in business, there's a saying, well, that's just business, right? And so it's like, how do you kind of like, I guess, differentiate something that's just business versus somebody truly being unethical?
Well, I think I think when we're younger and we're smaller, it's easy for us to, like, if I was in that position, which by the way, I've been in that position. I've been in a position before where I was working with a company who decided that they were going to work with someone else, and then I was left holding the bag. Okay, that's happened many times. A lot of times, in fact, every time that it's happened, I took it personally because it is personal to me.
Yeah.
This is my livelihood. This is our people's livelihood. Okay. But it's actually not a personal thing. Okay. So you have to know and you have to be able to really, truly separate what's personal and what's business. Okay. Business is business. And that means it's not going to always go the way you want. You're not going to always get what you want. Some people are going to have different goals. But to all of this, I would say, to your ethical question, the reason that it's important to always do the right thing and have respect for people regardless of what happens is because this game is so long. You never know who you're going to have to work with in the future. If you burn a bridge now, that same guy might come back in 3 years and stomp on your throat. Okay, because that business is always evolving. People are always moving their chess pieces. And sometimes that guy who you got pissed off at, maybe he's in a crunch and he cut you out because he was in a crunch. And then maybe he gets his pieces moved in the right way and he calls you back and he says, DJ, I got a great opportunity, bro. I know it didn't work out here, but like, what about this? Okay, so we can't burn bridges because the game is so long, we don't know what bridge we're going to have to cross. And doing things ethically also important because when you do good things and you do them with the proper intent, the universe and God rewards that back to you. So if you're doing things with the wrong intent, or you're doing things with bad intent, or you're being manipulative, or you're lying, or you're cheating, or you're stealing, or you're doing whatever, you're going to get that back 100-fold eventually somewhere along the line. So it's very important that you understand that what you put out is what you're going to get. This is why all you hater motherfuckers never fucking win. Okay, you cannot control your own ego to understand that there's plenty of room for everybody to win. And you see someone win, you see them grow their business, you see them drive a car. Bro, I see this every day. I post my life. People are like, oh, you don't want to see that. Well, you know what? There's lots of young kids that are inspired by my lifestyle that I've created for 25 years that I have a duty to show them so that they can understand that there is a prize on the other end of that struggle, okay? But you are so stupid, you can't understand that when you hate on that, you're telling the universe, I don't like winning. I don't like winning because every time I see someone else win, I don't like it, okay? And what do you think the universe gives you? It gives you exactly what you're asking for, which is not winning, all right? So all you hater dumbasses out there, you need to understand this, and because, dude, you're the one stomping on your own dick. Right. You don't realize that. So when you see someone win, you should be happy. If you're not happy, you should figure out how to be happy. You should stop yourself when you feel that little jealous tingle on the inside and be like, oh, no, that ain't right, dude. Good. If he did it, I can do it. And I can do it better, right? That's how the attitude should be. That's healthy. Yes.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the ethical, is this just business part? Because like it just made me click, like the guy that left him, maybe he's just looking out for his people, right? Like his company has to grow. Like I feel like that's a perspective people lack.
I think that's highly likely. I think that's highly likely. I don't think it's a personal thing, bro. Yeah. If it was personal, you know it. You know when people don't like you personally. Right. Most of you guys think you really got haters. You don't have any haters, bro. You never had the internet come after you. You've never been on MSM or news stations across the country. I've been on that shit plenty of times. Okay? There's a big difference between hate and you imagining hate. Yeah, right. Okay? And what most people do is they set themselves up in this mind frame of, if I do this, then so-and-so is going to think this, and then somebody else is going to think this, and then somebody else is going to think that. And what we do is we imagine all these worst case scenarios, but we can't put a name on who's going to think what. And what does that mean? It actually means that we are our own biggest haters. So we're the ones hating on ourselves and keeping ourselves from taking action because of the things that we think may happen, which likely never do happen. So get out of your own fucking way.
I love it, man. I love it. Guys, Andy, our third and final question. Andy, how do you balance delayed gratification and enjoying life more now? I am 26 years old. I am working a full-time job. On the nights and weekends, I am collaborating with a longtime friend with his growing small business. I'm also working with my brother on his small business. The point is, I'm doing well. I live in a small apartment and drive an 11-year-old compact car. I could upgrade my lifestyle, but I am too driven and want to spend that extra money on some business ideas. How do you convince yourself to let go of the instant pleasures to achieve something far greater in the future?
My advice to anybody is to live below your means for as long as you possibly can until you can invest the proper amount of money to where the return that you're looking for long-term is going to be reflective of the lifestyle that you're looking to build. Okay, we're all tempted. We're all inundated. So You have to not be influenced by the culture. And you have to look at yourself and say, okay, what am I trying to achieve here? I'm trying to achieve this lifestyle. I am here currently. I can afford a new BMW and I can afford a condo. Should I get the condo and the BMW, or should I take the money and put it into the business? Well, the answer is, what do you want on the other end of it? Okay, because the longer that you can maintain living small and invest your cash back into your business, the bigger the back end reward's going to be. Now, we talk in here about my story a lot. We talk about how the first 10 years, I made $58,380 for 10 years, not a year. That's cumulative for 10 years. But what people don't realize is that by the year 2006, we were making money and we were investing it in our business. And we were taking all the money, even though we could have afforded to pay ourselves for the next 4 or 5 years, and pouring it directly into the business so that we could get the end result where we wanted it to be. And once that engine was built by that investment and we had it running, now we were able to, take a little bit of here, take a little bit there. We're also along the way, we were able to figure out ways to make personal income that didn't affect the business. Okay. So it all depends on, where do you want to be in 20 years? Do you want to be the guy who is 26 years old, driving an S-Class, thinking you're the shit, or an old Bentley or an old Lamborghini? Or do you want to be the guy when you're 40 that is flying on a jet and going on a yacht and buying whatever Bugatti he decides he wants to buy? You know what I'm saying? Right. What do you want? Okay, because I can tell you this. That 26-year-old guy, by the time you're 40, that guy's going to be broke and no one's going to remember. And what they are going to remember is how douchebag he was trying to pretend like he was the shit when he wasn't the shit.
And look at him now.
Exactly. And the last thing you want to do is embarrass yourself with that kind of shit. So let's be real about it. Yes, you can reward yourself. You sure can, but it is going to cost you. And what's that cost worth? All right. And that's how I would evaluate that. Now, what I also think is that it's important to taste success sometimes. I think it's important to reward yourself and show yourself that you're doing things along the right way. But most people do that way too much, and it ends up costing them. You know what I mean? So it's there's nuance there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
My dad told me one time, I asked him, I was gonna get a 750 BMW. This was back when I thought,
sweet,
huh?
Those are sweet.
Oh yeah, the big body Beamers. I always liked them.
Yeah.
And this is back. I don't know. I didn't even know when this was. I mean, 15 years ago at least. And I said, I asked him a similar question. I said, how do you know when you? And his answer was, you'll know. You'll know. Which I don't know what the that meant. I feel like my answer is better.
You know now, though.
Yeah. I think it just comes down. And then also, bro, we only have limited time. So we have to run that balance very carefully. Yeah, you know what I mean?
The other part, like Kobe's situation.
Yeah, for sure. Kobe works his balls off for 40 years, decides he's going to start spending time with his family, and dies. And it doesn't always work out the way we want. So when you pour yourself into an ambitious lifestyle, into big dreams, big goals, you have to understand that it's very possible you could run out of time. Okay. It's very possible. It's a bet we make. It's a gamble we make, but it's the gamble required if you're going to do anything relevant. So there's no way around that. That's a bet you're going to have to make. Dude, you could get run over walking across the street today. Who knows? But if you want to be successful and you want to build big shit and you want to do something that's going to take care of you financially and take care of your family financially and give you ultimate freedom to do whatever you want at any time, you need to delay gratification for as long as possible. That's the truth. The richest in the world, well, not the richest, but one of the richest, dude, Elon Musk doesn't own a whole bunch of shit.
No.
He flies around in a plane, stays in hotels and shit. Okay. Who else is known for that? Oh, Warren Buffett. He lives in the same house he's lived in for 60 years, dude. You see what I'm saying?
Worth billions.
Yes. Bro, these people it doesn't become a game of accumulation of shit. It becomes winning. Who's the winner? And that's what's going to come for you too. So like, you may have a passion, dude. Maybe your passion, is watches or cars or whatever. I like watches and I like cars. Those are two things I like. I like winning better than that though. You know what I'm saying? Like I've gone through those phases. Young Dolph has a lyric in one of his songs. He goes, I got tired of watches. I started buying cars. I got tired of cars. I started buying property. All right. So what he's talking about there is the natural progression of a entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. And these little trinkets and collection and toys, eventually they lose their coolness. Now, I am deeply passionate about cars, but I haven't bought a watch in 5-6 years. I don't give a In fact, I really don't ever wear one anymore. I don't even wear one unless I wear a suit. So, and I got a nice watch collection, okay, and worth millions of dollars, but like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not cool to me anymore. And the cars, I mean, dude, I got some cars coming, but I haven't bought a new car in a couple years. I drive the cool shit I got. You know what I like? I like winning. I like reinvesting my money. I like knowing that I come in here every day and I don't even take a paycheck and I help these grow this shit so we can win. I love that. It makes me happy. So, but I'm in a different position. I've been doing this 25 years. I've been doing it since I was a young kid. So every single person that I have ever heard of, ever, that has built something amazing, delayed gratification for as long as possible, and also was very tired. Okay, we have people talking about how tired they are. I'm tired. No shit. That's a prerequisite to success. Every single thing that has ever been built, every single accomplishment that's ever been accomplished, every single thing that is worth mentioning in the history of Earth was built by people who were tired. Every single thing. Okay, so you getting on the internet and crying about how tired you are or saying I'm tired, good. You're supposed to be tired. Can you execute when you're tired? That's the question that you need to be answering. So, delayed gratification, discipline over motivation 100% of the time. Those two things will get you very far. Falling into the trap of instant gratification because you watch all these dorks on the internet who don't have shit talk about how much money they have when they're all clearly lying. That's going to get you right where everybody else is, which is here today, gone tomorrow. You want to build something great, take all the money you make, pour it back in, do that over and over and over again until you got the engine built. When the engine starts building, if you want to continue to pour money in, you can, but you don't have to.
I love it, man. I love it, guys. It's a hell of a way to start a Monday, man. Let's get to it.
All right, guys. We'll see you for CTI tomorrow.